She wasn't giving a typical speech, no boring list of cliches or stiff advice. Dolly Parton, was telling stories, not in songs, stories at a commencement address. Short, simple, heartfelt stories wrapped around four little ideas. The idea is dream more, right? A good idea. Learn more, care more, and be more. I couldn't stop thinking about it. In fact, I shared the video with our members of the Worldwide Santa Claus Network on Facebook, in our Facebook group. It just felt right somehow. Not because it was inspiring, or not just because it was inspiring. Yeah, it was. It was, it had a good feel to it. But that there was more than that. The messages that she was sharing seemed relevant to what we do as Claus portrayal artists. And as the day went on and the stories and the concepts kind of percolated in my mind, I realized something. These four story ideas could become Santa and Mrs. Claus short stories that stick, that have meat, and meaning, could be inspiring to people of all ages. So I sat down and I noodled around a bit on my computer and a little bit with AI. And here's what I came up with, is some story concepts for you to consider. First, on the Dream More story. The little elf and the ladder, the elf and the ladder. One snowy morning, a tiny elf named Jingle stood beneath the tallest shelf in the toy workshop. "I wish I could reach that," he said with a sigh. I leaned down and whispered, "Wishes are nice, Jingle, but dreams make you build the ladder." So he did, plank by plank, rung by rung. Jingle built it. And by Christmas Eve, he was placing toys on the top of the shelf. Dreaming isn't about wishing for magic. It's about becoming it. And the concept here is between wishes and dreams, right? So you can build that little story, how we all have wishes, but when we turn it into a dream, that's when we'll muster up the effort, the courage, the time to make our dreams come true. So anyway, that's interesting. The other one about learn more concept story. The cookie catastrophe, right? Okay, whatever. But one Christmas Eve, Mrs. Claus tried a brand new cookie recipe that she had made up. Let's just say it was more peppermint spaghetti than sugar cookie, right? I took one bite and asked, "Sweetheart, did you mean to invent this?" We laughed, and she got serious. She read more, and she tested, and she tried again. And the next year, those cookies won the North Pole Bake Off. See, learning isn't about never messing up. It's about having the courage to try again. All right, so there we are, the learning story, kind of fun. And again, you can build these up in any way that you want, but to get the concepts out there. The care more story, care more. The extra bow. An elf named Tinsel started tying an extra ribbon on every present. "Why the bows?" I asked. She smiled. "Because I want every child to feel like this gift was wrapped just for them." That's what caring looks like. It's not about doing more. It's about doing it with heart. Interesting, right? And you know what? That ribbon changed everything. Right? So that's an interesting way to express that point, right? Caring more. And then the last of the four was be more. The quiet reindeer. Dabble, Dasher's cousin, wasn't fast or flashy, but during a blizzardy training night, while all the other reindeer were zipping around, Dabble spotted a baby bunny stuck in the snow. He stopped and helped. I saw it. Being more isn't about shining brighter. It's about choosing kindness when no one's watching. That year, Dabble didn't just earn a spot on the sleigh team. He earned a place in all of our hearts. It's a fun little story, right? But you get the idea, creating these little stories around these little concepts. Now, and I have to tell you that Dolly's words and her stories, of course, were great and so true, born out of her experience. But and they were not just clever, but they were inspiring. They were felt, right? You knew they were coming from her. And I think that's what we need to do as Santa Claus, of course, but to build these stories. And maybe we can pull from our own real life. Anyway, I realize that's exactly what we aim for as Santa, right? And Mrs. Claus, to not just teach lessons. Of course, we want to do that, but we don't want to preach. We don't want to be preachy. And we want to tell stories, but we want it to be part of what we do. We want it to be inspiring, to kind of invite others to see themselves maybe a little differently, to somehow feel something new, to believe something more about what's important or who they are or what they can accomplish. So here's what I'm thinking. What if we use these little story concepts in our personal appearances in some way? What if you had one of these stories in your back pocket, ready to share during a school visit or on a video message or anything, any little quiet moment when you're visiting with the child, it may be even out of season. No real hardcore lessons, no lectures really, just a little North Pole parables that we've kind of queued up, that we have, like I say, in your pocket, ready to go, that light up someone's heart, and they have a meaningful message. That's how my day started, with coffee, a click, and a bit of Dolly Parton wisdom, right? And this is where it's led. Here it is. What is it now? It is 4:00, 3:59 p.m. And this is where this is spilling out here. So anyway, here's to dreaming more, learning more, caring more, and being more. One story at a time. All right. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.